Bo Digital is the secret ingredient you need for success in marketing your small business. From logos and flyers to social media and videos, Bo Digital can create the marketing you need to set yourself apart. Oh, and they build websites too. Not only do they help my small business, but did you know that they help many others around Kokomo too, including Solidarity Community Credit Union, the Lindy Owsley and Chanel Cahill Real Estate Team, Hope Behavioral Services, and even the Kokomo Symphony. Let Bo build a custom plan for you today. Learn more at bowdigital.com. That's BOWE digital.com. My name is Kayla Keith, and this is Missing Midwest, a true crime podcast about those that have gone missing. Today's story is a two-parter, a story of kidnapping, rescue, survival, and murder.
Hey.
What's up?
Time for another household name case.
It is. So, if you are not a subscriber, you have to subscribe to hear the second part, because yesterday we released the other part of this story. And so this is Missing Midwest. So I'm going to tell you the story of the kidnapping, the survival, and the rescue, because this is a rescue story. So it's not typical Missing Midwest because he's not currently still missing, but it's such a cool story and it kind of tied in with the murdered Midwest. I just had to do it. And so yesterday we released the murdered Midwest, and that part has the craziness into it. And so we'll
hear about that later a little bit.
You have to subscribe if you want to hear it. So no better time than now to be a subscriber.
Right.
And if you're not subscribing, what are you doing with your life? It's only $5 a month. Like, please subscribe. It literally makes me so happy. I literally screenshot it. And
we try to make you happy too. We get, it's $5 a month now, and you get a bonus content every single week, the Murdered Midwest episode. But if you look at the backlog, you get access to all of that now. So if you have a Murdered Midwest subscription, you're looking at almost 50 free bonus episodes. Definitely worth $5 a month. We also send out some stickers. We just got some new stickers for the fam.
You get
sending out to all of our subscribers.
An extra episode a week. You get to listen to all the backlog, like you said.
Although I'm a little salty. I told Kayla to pick new stickers, and of course one of the stickers she picks was the husband probably did it one. Just
because he probably did.
She was.
It's like less than a cup of coffee once a month. Come on.
All right.
Give us your $5, please. Anyway.
I was going to just be polite about it, but...
I said please. I literally said please.
Real quick, and a couple other announcements. Long sleeve tee weather. It's like right here. It's like right in front of us. It was like 80 degrees all week in Indiana this week, but like I know it's coming. Fall camping is coming. We've got camping dates set here in a month. I'm excited about it. We're almost there. Get your long sleeve tee. We've got new shirts, merch, all that good stuff. Yeah. Make sure you're following us on Instagram for all those updates and just easy links to the store on Facebook as well. Also, a little happy birthday shout out. Karen Keller, happy birthday. Appreciate your support. She was our very first candle sell last week as well.
And I think she might have been our first subscriber.
She was in definitely up there in the top 5. There was a bunch of people on the first day when we first started the bonus content. She might have been. She was in there for that first day or first week or whatever it was. So Karen, thank you. We're thankful for you, and we appreciate your support. Let's go. You're a rule breaker again. I have to scold you for it. I'm a teacher, and so I have to say. But last week, you gave us a missing case that actually ended up being a murdered case. So we're balancing it this week with a missing case that actually ends up being a rescue.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, typically the routine is to have a missing person's case that hasn't been solved yet. But Kayla's just throwing caution into the wind lately. She's just been all over the country. She's a mess.
I'm bouncing around. I'm a mess. Always. Story of my life. I got cleared to walk with a walking boot.
I was going to say, slightly less of a mess today than you were yesterday.
Okay, so I am talking today. I'm telling you about the abduction and the survival and the rescue of Steven Stayner. Steven Stayner is kind of a household name. It was a big deal. But Steven is the younger brother of yesterday's murdered Midwest serial killer, Carrie Stayner.
You heard that correctly.
Whoa, family problems. 10 years after Steven was abducted, his older brother became a serial killer. Like, what? Like, if you're going to be in the news, like, you do not want to be in the news twice in a 10-year period for one, a missing child, and two, your other son deciding to be a serial killer. Like, red flag, red flag, red flag. And so it's just kind of crazy, the ties. There's like some theories between like, did Carrie turn out to be a serial killer because of what happened to his little brother? Carrie says no. Some of the different detectives say it could have played into it. There was a little guilt factor there. Steven was walking home from school alone, and his older brother Carrie was supposed to be with him.
Ouch.
And so,
what city you're in again?
So we are going to California.
Okay.
It's Merced, California. Population currently is 91,000. $3 generals. Steven Stayner was the third of 5 children, oldest child being Carrie Stayner, and then some sisters, and then Steven. Delbert and Kay Stayner were his parents. So he had 3 sisters and an older brother. December 4th, 1972 is where we are starting, okay? Steven was walking home from school alone when he was approached by a man named Irvin Edward Murphy. Irvin had a friend. He had worked at a resort in Yosemite National Park, which if you listen to yesterday's episode, there's another connection there with Yosemite National Park, but he made a friend when he was working at this resort, and that friend was named Kenneth Parnell. Now, Kenneth Parnell is a piece of trash, human garbage, if you will. People that knew Irvin Murphy, they called him a simple-minded man, naive, too trusting. I think he might have had a little learning disabilities going on here or something. He became friends with this Kenneth Parnell, and Parnell passed himself off to Irvin as a minister. He was absolutely not a minister. And he told him that it was his mission, and what he was doing was that he was saving these young boys and taking them into this like religious type reformation thing and helping these young boys, and that he needed his friend Irvin's help to get the boys and get them where they needed to go to get them on the right path in life. And so Irvin, big yikes. Irvin, was he a part of the abduction? Did he know what was happening? Was he just conned by Kenneth Parnell? Probably. I don't know.
It's messy.
I don't know if he actually knew what he was doing or not. I mean, naive, simple-minded man thinks he's helping a minister, thinks he's saving young boys. So that day, Murphy was passing out religious flyers to young boys that were walking home from school that day, okay? With his friend Kenneth Parnell, who was nearby in a car. Parnell spotted Steven, and he told Murphy that he needed to approach Steven and talk to him more about these religious things that were going on. He instructed Murphy or Irvin to go up to Steven, start a conversation, and he asked, and then Kenneth Parnell joined them, and he was like, "Hey, this is my friend Irvin, and we are collecting donations for the local church." And he asked him if his mom had anything that she might want to donate. And Steven was like, "Yeah, like I'm sure my mom would love to donate to the church. Like we can do that." And so they were like, "Well, would you like to show us where you live so we can take you to your house and talk to your mom and get some stuff?" And Steven was like, "Yeah, sure." And so Irvin and Kenneth took Steven to their car, back to their vehicle, and got him in there. It was a white Buick. Steven willingly got into the car with Irvin. Parnell drove them away. However, instead of heading towards Steven's house, they started to drive in the opposite direction to Kenneth Parnell's cabin that was located in the woods in Kathy's Valley. Parnell then, when they arrived there, so another crazy thing about this is that Kenneth Parnell's cabin was located just a few hundred feet from Steven's grandpa's cabin where he lived.
So he could see it.
He didn't know where he was at.
Oh man.
He didn't like show him where he was at.
Yeah. Jeez.
They said Steven asked to go home several times during the drive there and during his first week as he was held captive. Kenneth began raping and assaulting Steven the first night that they were at his cabin. Steven, like I said, asked many times that he wanted to go home. Kenneth Parnell told Steven that he had actually been granted legal custody of him. He said
so sad.
His parents did not want him anymore.
So sad. It makes me want to throw up just thinking about it.
They said that they couldn't afford, they had too many kids, they couldn't afford it, and they didn't want him anymore, and that he had like misbehaved some, and so they decided that he was the one that had to go. Steven, being 7 years old, believed it. I mean, his parents didn't come looking for him. They were looking for him. They were looking everywhere for him, but he didn't know that. And so, Parnell said, like, Kenneth was like, they don't want you, and I have custody of you now, and you're mine, and you need to call me dad. And that was Steven's life from then on. Kenneth began calling Steven Dennis. He renamed him Dennis Gregory Parnell. He kept Steven's real name. His middle name was Gregory. And he kept his real birthday, and he enrolled him in school. And over the next several years, that's how they lived. Steven called him dad. He went by Dennis. Everywhere they went, Kenneth passed himself off as Steven's dad. They moved around California a few different times, different locations. They went to like Santa Rosa. The original cabin was only 38 miles from his house.
Oh my gosh.
Parnell, shockingly, Kenneth Parnell was not like, first of all, it wasn't his real dad, but he also just wasn't a great dad. He let Steven drink at a very young age. He had no rules. He could come and go. Once he got past like the whole like you're with me now, and Steven actually believed it, he didn't try to run away.
Which is also like so sad because like he's continuing his life thinking his parents don't want him. Like that's exactly. so sad. He
didn't really have any rules. He could come and go when he pleased. He provided him with alcohol. He started drinking at a really young age. Kenneth just moved from like little job to little job. He didn't really have anything. He worked a lot, or he traveled a lot for his work, and so Steven was just left by himself to fend for himself, his own food, whatever. Steven later had actually said like he could have left whenever he wanted.
That's crazy, man.
But, like, he didn't know like how to like summon the help, and also like why would I leave when my family didn't want me anyway, type thing.
That's tough. Like where would he go? Is like what his mindset is.
Like I think about my own kids. Like could someone convince my own kids that I didn't want them? And it's like with such a small, simple mind, like I don't think they could. But then it's like when you take them away from everything they know and love, and you're telling them these things, and they think that you're not. Why would
Makes me want to go wake them up right now and be like,
I know
this will never
happen.
Never.
And so he, Kenneth actually gave Steven a dog named Queenie. It was a Manchester Terrier. So actually, Kenneth's mom, it was actually Kenneth's mom's dog. She had no idea of Steven's existence, like ever at all. But she gave her dog to her son, Kenneth, who then gave it to Steven. Stanley Cleaning Company has an exciting new service they are offering, and I can't wait to tell you about it. Laundry. Yes, they will come to your house, and for $15 a load, they will pick it up, take it, wash it, dry it, fold it, and bring it back to you. This is something I have dreamed about since I became an adult and started doing laundry on my own. Hit them up and get your place cleaned and your laundry done by my friends over at Stanley Cleaning Company. You can find them on Facebook or give her a call or a text at 765-860-3606. So I mean, life isn't great for Steven. I mean, he's sexually abused, but he doesn't have any rules, and life is that's the life he knows. He's got this dog. He's living with who he thinks is his new dad, and that's how it is. There was actually a woman named Barbara. Well, I said that word. Barbara Mathias. She actually lived with Kenneth and Steven for like 18 months. Steven actually said that her and Kenneth raped him.
Oh my gosh. So she was like involved with it. Wow.
So she was like a predator, obviously. He said it happened more than 10 times around when he was about 9 years old.
What?
Yeah. In 1975, due to Kenneth, like through Kenneth Parnell's instruction, Barbara actually tried to kidnap another little boy who was in the Santa Rosa Boys Club with Steven.
Wow.
They tried to get him into their car, but it didn't work. She later said that she had no idea that Dennis was kidnapped. Like, I thought it was Kenneth's actual son that we were raping, so that's fine. He wasn't a kidnapped boy that we were raping, just his son. Like, okay.
She's a monster too.
Yeah, it doesn't make you any better that you didn't know he was kidnapped. You were still like sexually assaulting a young boy.
I hope she ends up in jail too.
So, like in many cases when this happens, as Steven entered puberty, Kenneth became less interested in him. Kenneth started to look for a younger child to kidnap. He actually used Steven on multiple times to try to get small children in his car, but every time the kidnapping attempts were unsuccessful, and Steven later said like he intentionally was like sabotaging
Good for him
because he knew what was going to happen.
Good for him.
Boys.
Dang.
And so he like always did it, and so like then that would like make Kenneth mad and be like, you're like a terrible accomplice because we can never like carry off a kidnapping. And Steven's like, yeah, I know, I'm doing it on purpose. Like so on February 14th 1980, Kenneth and a teenage friend of Steven's, so he had a friend, his name was Randall Portman. They actually kidnapped a little boy together, all three of them, Timothy White. And it was very like traumatic. This little boy was in the house with Steven, and Steven just like couldn't handle it. Like he said the boy was just like begging for his mom, crying, and Steven knew like what was happening. Like he knew the road we were going down because it happened to him. And so Steven's like, you know what? No, like not on my watch. I'm not doing it. And so on March 1st, 1980, when Kenneth went to work, Steven was like, okay, let's go. And he put Timothy White on his back, gave him a piggyback ride, and they hitchhiked. They were trying to find Timothy's house, and he was just going to like take him back to his parents, but they couldn't. They couldn't find it because Timothy didn't know he was only 5. He didn't know his way home. Right. And so they went to a police station, and they straight up just walked in. And this is like one of the famous, like most famous things. They walked into this police station, and Steven was like, this is Timothy White. He's been kidnapped. And he was like, and I don't remember, or the quote, I believe it's, I know my name is Steven. And they're like, wait, you're Steven?
Yeah.
Like Steven from 7 years ago?
Steven? Yeah.
By daybreak that next day, Kenneth had been arrested for abducting both boys. And when they checked into his background, they found that he had actually previously been convicted of sodomy in 1951. Both kids were reunited with their families that same day.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think they would waste no time. Like,
so one of the like crazy things though was with this is Steven was actually reunited with his mom and dad like on live TV. Like usually that's something that would happen in private.
Yeah.
But like they like through all of it, like contacted his parents, and they get there and like literally like his dad got to him first and gave him like a big hug, and then his mom got and like gave him a hug, and like it was just kind of this like awkward reunion. Yeah. Because he's like, I don't really know who these.
Well, in his head, he's like, I thought you guys gave me up.
Well, yeah, there was so much confusion around it, and so yeah, and I'll talk about that more later. But both children are reunited with their families that day, and there's just like really like wholesome pictures. I'll probably post some of the pictures and like shots from it, but like Timothy was like literally like connected to Steven, like on his hip, like literally the whole time. Kenneth, so he was convicted in 1981 of kidnapping both of them, both Timothy and Steven, in 2 separate trials, and this is enraging, okay? He was sentenced to 7 years and only served 5 of them. He served less time than he held Steven for.
How is that even possible?
He had Steven for 7 years, and he served less than 7 years.
I don't understand. What am I missing?
And so he was not able. So like the sexual assaults were outside of the jurisdiction of them, and so they decided not to pursue them because they were like outside of the statute of limitations too. And so all they had to serve like arrest him for was the kidnapping. And then I don't know why
False
somebody
imprisonment.
has
Like,
that. Yeah, I don't know why kidnapping doesn't carry a bigger charge than that. But also he had a previous conviction of sodomy against a child. Like, he's obviously a predator. I have no idea.
I mean, how's that not strike 2 and 3? Like, two different counts. Remember, we just talked about the 3 strikes
true.
law.
So he was sentenced, like I said, sentenced to 7 years, paroled after 5. He was released on parole. And then in 2003, he was arrested and charged because he was attempting to purchase a child, but it was a sting operation. After that, he received a life sentence.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
He died in prison in 2008. He was 76 years old. So like I said, he was not charged with there was numerous sexual assaults and other stuff, but it was very messy with the jurisdiction and how much they moved around and limitations and stuff like that. So Irvin Murphy, who helped kidnap Stayner, Steven Stayner, and then the Randall Poorman, the guy that helped kidnap Timothy.
Yeah.
They both were convicted, but of lesser charges. Both said they did not know anything about Steven being sexually assaulted. They didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know.
They just thought, you're just gonna kidnap.
Kidnapping. That's what I'm saying. Okay, I knew I was kidnapping somebody.
There are not good intentions when you're kidnapping. But I want to know about the freaking girlfriend. She should be in jail too. That's
right.
Man.
Never arrested. So Barbara was never arrested. But Steven did say he remember. So he actually called Irvin Murphy Uncle Murphy.
What?
Yeah, and he said he was very kind to him. They said especially during that first week of captivity. He said that he believes that Irvin was under the influence of Kenneth's manipulation.
Wow.
He said that he was as much of a victim as him and Timothy were.
Wow.
So he does not blame him. He said that he was actually very nice and helpful to him. So, so the Stayner kidnapping actually prompted California to have changed their state laws to allow consecutive prison terms in similar abduction cases. Because, like I said, there was a lot of...
He was charged one time. It was strike 2, even though it was 2 kids. That sucks.
Yeah, and so it was yeah. So that's the story. And so there's it's pretty wholesome. He saved this little boy. There's actually a statue that they made of Steven carrying Timothy on his back, giving him a piggyback ride, taking him home. He was I'm not letting this happen to somebody else. And so some of the aftermath stuff, I guess, I'll tell you. So it wasn't just all butterflies and rainbows and sunshine. After he went back home, he had a lot of trouble adjusting. I mean, he was 7 years old when he went missing, and he was 14 when he got back, and he
had been freely drinking alcohol.
Yes. And
so being told you can't do that anymore. Yes, wait, what? His
parents had a very structured life. And so he was no, I get to do what I want. And they're not here, you don't. And so he's well, I'm sure there was all this, are you even my parents? What'd be hard to listen?
You guys let me get kidnapped. I'm sure, especially.
Well, I'm sure he had.
But the teenage side of, you know what I'm saying?
Didn't look for me. Yeah. I'm sure it was awful. There was an interview that Steven did, and he said, I returned almost a grown man, but my parents still saw me as their 7-year-old.
Ouch. That's tough, man.
After they stopped trying to teach me the fundamentals over and over again, it got better. He said, but why doesn't my dad hug me anymore? Everything has changed. Sometimes I blame myself. I don't know sometimes if I should have come home. Would I have been better off if I didn't?
Man, that's so hard.
Awful.
Goodness.
He started to do some counseling, but he refused to tell anyone any of the details of the sexual abuse that he endured. He did not want to talk about it, would not tell anybody. So he kept that to himself. In 2007, his sister said that his brother didn't do counseling because their dad said he didn't need to and wouldn't want him. She said that Steven was pretty messed up after that. She said that he was bullied for being molested. People said that he was gay for being molested. He eventually dropped out of school.
No. Jeez.
He ended up with a drinking problem. His parents had to kick him out of the house a lot, and then he always had a really strained relationship with his dad after that. But he started to get his life back together. But in 1985, he actually married a lady. Her name was Jody Edmondson, and he had 2 kids, a daughter named Ashley and a son named Steven Jr. And he worked with child abduction groups, and he spoke to kids about personal safety, and he gave a lot of interviews about his kidnapping. He joined the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. He was working in Merced at a local pizza shop, but on September 16th, 1989, he got fatal head injuries on his way home from work. A car turned in front of his motorcycle, and it was a hit-and-run accident.
Oh, geez, man.
And he died. It said the driver of that car was actually later identified because there were witnesses. The person was sentenced to 3 months in prison for the hit and run. Was found not guilty of manslaughter, though. They said over 500 people attended Steven's funeral, and 14-year-old Timothy White was a pallbearer.
Wow.
Isn't that sad? 14 years old, that's the same age that
he was when he came back.
Steven was when he came back, yeah.
Johnny, question for you.
Yeah.
If I was somewhere in Kokomo and it wasn't our house and it wasn't the flower shop, where would I be?
Easy. Humble home.
Yes, you're right. You guys, listen up. Humble Home is my absolute favorite place to be for so many reasons. No matter what I'm looking for, I always check Humble Home first. Clothes, shoes, toys, decor, furniture, makeup, they literally always have something that I need. They have brand name items for cheap. Their inventory is constantly changing, so it's part of my weekly routine to do a Humble Home walkthrough. You absolutely need to stop by. I promise you won't be disappointed. While it is a discount store, it's not your average discount store. It's clean, organized, and everything has its place. I get zero anxiety when I go in, unlike other discount stores. And no matter what you're shopping for, a home project, gifts, home decor, even seasonal decor, they will have it. They are open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sunday from noon to 5. You can follow them on Facebook at Humble Home Kokomo and watch for new items every single day. And for our Lafayette, Indiana listeners, I have exciting news. They are opening a second location in Lafayette soon. As soon as I have the details, I will let you know their opening date. Get excited.
So that was 1989 when he died. And his brother, Kerry Stayner, was his older brother that we talked about in yesterday's murder episode, remember?
Yep.
I believe, was it 99 was his first murder?
I can't remember what you said it was, but it is crazy. Like
10 years later.
This whole story that we just told, in the background of this whole story is his older brother.
Yeah.
Like you said at the beginning, was supposed to be walking him home from school. He's there in the videos with the family reuniting.
I'll have to post that picture too. There's this like video picture, like a still shot from a video, I believe, when Steven is reunited with his parents, and you like see his parents and they're like fawning over him, obviously, like our son is home. And in the background you see his older brother, and he just like creeping, like he doesn't look
just
happy that his little brother's home.
A psychopath look.
Like a psychopath look, yeah. And so like, and then come to find out, like X amount of years later, he
was a psychopath. Yeah,
was a killer. Like, yeah, ended up killing multiple people. Crazy. So if you want to hear that story, subscribe. We posted it yesterday.
$5.
For $5, you can hear that story and over 50 more. But there's a lot of talk in it too, like I said, about the guilt that went into not being there for his brother. Did that play into like how he grew up and decided to murder people? I don't know. So there's a lot more to it, but it's just kind of a crazy. I was like, we do a podcast, a missing and a murdered case every week, and I have these 2 cases that are missing and murdered in one family.
One family, yeah.
To do it, even
crazy.
though I'm glad Steven was saved. I'm glad Timothy was saved. But he was missing for 7 years. They had no idea where he was, and he was like 38 miles away.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about like the traumatic experiences that family went through, I mean, first of all, there's him going missing and wondering where he is every day. Then, I mean, even though it's better than him going missing, like him coming back would be a traumatic experience.
Well,
I mean, the adjustments and all that stuff would be so hard.
We say it all the time with like missing people. It's the worst case scenario because you don't know what happened, and like, I'm sure they thought he was dead.
I'm sure they had days where they were hopeful that he wasn't too, you know?
Yeah.
And
yeah. But like, you go back and forth when you don't have a body, you don't know. They could be alive. Odds are they're not alive. In this case, like, he was kept alive for 7 years.
And he came home and like
but he was being horribly abused.
Exactly.
It's like,
what a beautiful moment, but what a
Yeah.
hard road after it,
Yeah.
and the trauma and everything you have to deal with there.
Yeah.
Then to just catch your stride, and then
Our son is
he
home.
dies in a motorcycle accident.
Yeah.
And then you find out your older son is a serial killer. Like,
Rough.
yeah, rough.
Rough time for the Stayner family.
Rough.
Yeah, I'm sure that the siblings too. I mean,
Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
not
you said there was
excusing-
5 kids?
yeah, and I'm not excusing, like, obviously, my brother went missing, my brother came home, and then, the parents, you had to deal with your parents, grieving the child and then coming home, but they're still grieving because it's not the same child that went missing. And obviously that doesn't excuse what Carrie did, but like all the other siblings endured that too.
Yeah, for sure. Crazy.
And they didn't end up killing people, so.
Yeah. I mean,
But yeah, crazy story. I'll definitely post some pictures of it though, because there's some wholesome pictures that came out of it, and the creepy one. I'll have to post the creepy one of the brother in the background, because it's like, that man doesn't look happy. His brother's back there.
Yeah. But then you
yeah.
see every picture of him ever, and it's the exact same facial expression. And you're like, this guy doesn't have a personality.
Yeah, that makes more sense when you figure out the whole story.
That he's a psychopath. Yeah.
So that's the story. Again, subscribe and listen, and you can hear both of them together.
Thanks, guys. This podcast is a So.Will.I.Studos production. So will I.
Did you know the Jefferson House of Flowers has been a local Kokomo florist for almost 100 years? Our trained designers make beautiful arrangements for literally any occasion. You can send flowers for any reason. Birthdays, anniversaries, get well, congratulations. The list goes on. We make flowers for funerals, weddings, proposals, and even proms. Let's be honest. Receiving flowers, whether you're at home or at your work, it makes you feel special. You get butterflies and you feel loved, and that's what sending flowers is all about, the feeling it creates. Call us at 765-452-8269 and let us create something special and send it out for you. Or you can stop in and see us at 4300 West, 100 North Kokomo. We always have a cooler full of flowers that are ready to go, as well as a boutique full of gifts. Shop local, support local, and send flowers.